Okay, I'm back here. This is Mustafa. If you watched the first video, so now you should be able to create a Ladybug component, and you know how to add it here. But in that component, we didn't use anything from Ladybug, right? It's just like a generic Python code. It has nothing to do with Ladybug. So now what I want to show you this time in this one. Let me clean this. I move it here, somewhere out there. Is to create another component that is actually going to use some Ladybug functionalities, and the component should look something like this. Let's create it. So it should import an EBW file, right? And it's required input, because without that we can't do anything, and it should output cloudiness as percentage. So I want to have an EPW file input, which is the address to EPW file, and I want this thing output the percentage of the cloudiness as percentages. So here I should get 8760 values as numbers as percentages. And do I need these? I just keep it for now, so we can use it to debug the code during the process, but probably we don't really need it. I remove this. I mean, still hi Chris, but we don't need it. So we have this component here, and I want this get cloudiness to be added here, right? Under analyze weather data. It's similar to like import ground temperature maybe, so it can go around here, Ladybug, like panel 2 under this. Okay, so to do so I just copy paste the stuff from this component as the template, and I modify them. Okay, so the name of this component is get cloudiness. I'm not sure if, I mean, this is not going to show up, so it doesn't really matter how I write it. I'm not sure if the word cloudiness is spelled like that, but it should be fine. Get cloudiness, and we're not excited about this one. So the input is EPW file. What I usually do is just even in case of consistency, is if you're developing a component that like has an input similar to the ones that the other components have, just use whatever description that you have on the other files, so we end up having the same kind of descriptions for everything. So what I did, I basically copied this line, or I didn't. So I did Ctrl V and then Ctrl X to remove that line, and then for the output we have the cloudiness. So as you can see here, this component has this as an output. So here is total sky cover, but what it does, it gives the numbers to between 1 to 10, but here I want to have the numbers between 0 to 100. So I can use this total sky cover actually as my description. So I just do Ctrl C, and I paste it here, I remove this, and here I just call the output cloudiness. Okay, looks good. And then let's set up the rest. So the name of the component is going to be Ladybug cloudiness. So this is cloudiness, and the version is the same, the date is the same. It's a Ladybug component. This time it's under 1, right? as I said, sorry, and one is analyze weather data, and almost for sure I will type it wrong, but let's try. Analyze data. Hopefully it's right. We will see in a second. And then where I want this thing end up is number 2, because I want this to be not panel 1 but panel 2. Again, I keep this as main, but here what I send inside is EPW file as the input, which is okay, I made a mess here, sorry, I just cleaned up. So which is this one, EPW file is my input. Okay, let's write the pseudocode before getting us started. And even before that, I just test to see everything else is fine. So I press F5. The name changed. It's called cloudiness. It gives me this function, total sky cover. Okay. So here we want to change this because cloudiness, this is a fraction for the total cover sky. Between 1 to 100. And then I just remove everything to just keep it simple for this example. Total sky cover between 0 to 100. Here we go. So this looks good now. This is okay, that's okay. We will remove this probably, and then here I again change it to icon, and I go here and I have a 24 by 24 pixel PNG image that I just drag and drop. The simplest, ugliest icon. I mean, it's not that ugly. So it's just a black square. So we get that. So this is all ready. Now we have to write the code. As I said, this time I want to use Ladybug functionalities. Basically, I don't want to write all my functions from scratch. And I will use this component to show you an example of how we do it. But before that, let's check this Ladybug and see what's happening inside it. So Ladybug is a series of functions and classes under functions under classes that I copy to the memory, to the shared sticky, actually, if I want to tell the whole story, and then we read it from the other components so we can use them. This is how we share it. So in a normal world of development, you should be able to go here, up here, type for example import Ladybug, and then come here and say Ladybug dot import EPW, and then put the file path here, right? EPW file, and then it will return some stuff. It should. But right now we are not really in that place. And meanwhile, I just changed this input for the function to EPW file. We are not there yet, so we are using a different way of doing it, and there's a reason for that. We didn't want to have this Py library that we ship with the development every time. We wanted to have everything kept in the same place right now. For this really, at some point when we can really compile the Python code too, I mean, we will have probably 2 versions. You will have a better API to write and just like import it and just write something like this. But right now, this is not how we do it. So I'll show you how we do it right now. Right now, we basically call all this from the sticky, and you will see it in a second, but let's check what we get here. So you can see here there are different classes, like there is a version check class, there is a check-in class, there is a preparation, some path, mesh preparation, run analysis inside Grasshopper, results visualization. There is class for wind model, like comfort models, wind speed. There's a definition here that checks the GH Python, and finally here is the place that we copy everything to sticky. So we can call them. For example, here you can see there is a Ladybug preparation that I copied the class preparation there, so I can call it afterward. And this is what means like let Ladybug fly technically. So when you let the Ladybug fly, all these classes will be copied to sticky, so other components can read them and they can use them without having them copy pasted every single where. So you don't have like 10 instances of the same function. Here is an example. So now you should know what is this things. These are all the descriptions. We set the names, and from here you can see the component starts and says if sticky dot has key Ladybug release. So basically component checks here that if Ladybug is flying. If it doesn't flying, it will give you a warning here, like else give this warning, says it's not flying. Then if it's flying, then it checks the compatibility, which I explained in the last video, and now you should understand why we need to check the this thing. God, what a word! The reason we need to check that is because just imagine I make some changes in my Ladybug. I write a new function, I change some stuff, and then I call that function and I change this version. So if you have another file open which has an older version of Ladybug, that will overwrite your newer Ladybug. And I mean, you may ask, like, why do you have that? Why you let an older version of Ladybug overwrites the newer version of Ladybug? The reason for that is because we want the users to be able to use whatever they have already developed. Like, we don't want them to not to be able to use their old developments, because you know they have so many stuff like workflows set up for the whole office and all that stuff, and you don't want like all your workflow start not working as after you have the first update. So we want all of them work, but at the same time we want to make sure our newer components, which only will work with the newer versions of Ladybug, will be fine. So they, instead of crashing, they will give a warning to the user that says you need a newer version. And if both of these things are fine, then here is the line that it really imports the Ladybug functionality. And in this component I only need Ladybug preparation because I want to get the EPW data out of it, as you can see. And then this function basically gets all the weather data, and here I assign all of them to the outputs. And this is not the best way of writing this. So this is how, wow. This is the good thing about checking an old code. So you can see that the results, the output of the results. So right now the main function up there is returning location data and weather data, and then I separate them here. So I get the location data here for the first part, and then the rest here. So for this example, like cloudiness, right now we only need the cloud data, so we need this function called EPW data reader. And how I know that is like, because I kind of wrote it, but you can go ahead and check all the functions inside. We really don't have a clean API, but the good thing is we have so many examples. So for example, if I wanted to do this and I had no idea, I could have guessed that okay, there should be a function inside this component that does it. And now I checked and I figured out, okay, this is inside Ladybug preparation, and it calls EPW data reader. And it needs EPW file, and it needs the location data 0, which I don't remember what is the 0 one, but we can check, and we can get the location data basically using this EPW location. So it basically means I can copy paste whatever I have inside this function to the new one, but we just copy it section by section so we can test it and make sure it works fine and you can follow. So let's write the pseudocode now. Now that we checked what is the process. So here I need to do check if Ladybug is flying, and then check version compatibility, and finally when I check the version compatibility, import cloudiness. Is it like this or is it like this? I don't know. Import cloudiness, and finally return the values. Okay, great. So let's see how it works. Now let's first check if Ladybug is flying. So the way that you can check the Ladybug is flying is when you let the Ladybug fly, it copies some keys to a sticky. That one of them is a check for the release. So now, and if okay, in case you don't know what is a sticky, so let me import a script context as a C. There is a dictionary inside a script context called a sticky, and this is a shared dictionary between the files, between like a session, a single session of Rhino, which means if you have several Grasshopper files, they all have access to this sticky. So now let me just print the sticky here for you inside the sorry, see sticky, and I press the 5 and you can see it printed like wow, bunch of stuff. And there is so much mess actually because we have Honeybee loaded, and Honeybee has much more classes and it copies some dictionaries up there. But you can see there's some Ladybug stuff here too, like a Ladybug result visualization. There is one Honeybee for grid-based daylighting, all this stuff. So they're all here and I can check. So now if I go back to this code, which is for import EPW, you can see I say if sc sticky has key Ladybug release, do the stuff. And why is that? Because if I print, I mean, so you can see it returns true. It basically means the dictionary sc sticky has a key that called Ladybug release. So I can just say I can print all the keys of the dictionary. Print. So you can see this is all the keys that we have inside, and one of the keys is Ladybug release, which basically means now I can go ahead and say Ladybug underline release, and it returns an object which is a version check. Actually it doesn't work like this. So there is a version check object there. I think there is a yes. So it's an object that I copy to the sticky so I can check the versions later. So it basically tells me like, yeah, there is a Ladybug flying, and the Ladybug which is flying is 17 February 2015 and the version is 0059. But you don't need to know all this stuff when you get started. So all you need to do is to say if not sticky has key this, it means the Ladybug is not flying. So here you need to give a warning. Give a warning to user to let Ladybug fly. And to do so, we usually both print and we give a warning on, like, we basically make the component to be orange and give a warning. And I can show you here an example on how you can do that. So again, I just copy paste this stuff instead of typing them again and tell you what's going on here. So I mean, I think it's much more clean if you have really a method somewhere that we can call and say give warning and pass the message. But for now, we just do it every time. So to do this, you need to have Grasshopper loaded too, because to give a warning, you need to use Grasshopper objects. To do so, I just go up here and import grasshopper.kernel as gh. So now I have access to that. So there is a method there that lets you create a warning object, like runtime message level, which in this level we want to say it's a warning message basically. So here you can see I create this. It says gh.gh runtime message level and warning. The other options that you have is the error, and I think there was another one that you can give a remark to the user. So here I want to give a warning, and then I can use gh environment component. This is kind of a secret class inside secret method inside this or namespace. I don't know what is the right word to use it. Inside gh Python component. This actually is this instance of the component. I mean, it's not really related, but just give you an idea. Like if you have any Python component, it's if you type here gh environment dot, you see it will come up. And component, for example, if I type name, you can see that I can access the name of the component using that. It's a Python script, right? So this is the same object we're using here, and we say gh component dot, and then we say add a runtime message, and this message, it needs the type of the message here is, which we say, like, I mean by type here they call it level. The level of the message is a warning, and then what is the message, which is a string that we are passing here. We say first please let the ladybug fly, or something similar to that. So now if the ladybug is not flying, the component will give a warning and then return -1. This is again the practice, like the way we are doing it. Like there are different ways, but we usually return -1. So here we can check results from the component, and we say if results is not -1, then assign it to the output. So, or do whatever. I mean, here I just assign it to the output. Cloudiness is results. So it gives us another chance to check, to double check here. So if anything fails, we usually return -1, so we can check it down here and not assign the wrong values to the output. And the warning is already given up here, right? So whatever warning is, it will just show up here. So that was the version check. I think I will go over the time for this one. We will see. Then you need to check the version compatibility. I think I just changed the name of this word not to have to pronounce it. And for this one, we have a function actually, which is called isCompatible, which lives inside the Ladybug release in a sticky. So let me print it here for you. So if I do print, you can see it returns true. So what it does, it takes the component itself. As I said, gh environment component is this instance of this component, and it tells you if the version of Ladybug which is flying is compatible with the version that you need or not. And when does this thing know which is the version that you need? Up here, right? So now if I change February 20th, it will say false, because the one that is flying already here is February 17th. So it needs a newer version, so it will return false. So that's how this process basically works. For now, this 17th is totally fine, so I put this version here. And as you can see here, we put it in a try exception. And the reason for this is because I added this is compatible check very recently. But the old versions of Ladybug has this key of Ladybug release, and it may you may have a Ladybug flying, but that Ladybug may not have is compatible function there. That's why we just catch here. So if this thing fails for any reason, it basically gives me this warning, right? Of okay, this version doesn't work, you need a newer version and all that stuff, and again it returns -1. So I just add all this here, I just copy it, paste it here. So well, I don't need the first line. So all it does now is after it checks the version, it checks the compatibility. So as you can see, like lots of the code is just defense. If you are a developer already, you know that it's not like about writing something that works, but mainly is about like guessing what can go wrong and make sure you're fixing all that stuff before getting to your code. So all these things that I wrote up to here is like has nothing to do with what I really want from this component to do, but it's just like checking everything is fine. So now that everything is fine, I can go ahead and import the libraries from Ladybug, and we have 3 minutes left. So what I will do is just I import them, and then I write the code for this component in the next video. Okay, so to import, again, as I said, this is how we do it. It's similar to writing like import from Ladybug, import like Ladybug preparation as LB preparation. But we can't do it right now like that, so this is how we do it now. So import Ladybug preparation class. And I know under the Ladybug preparation class there are two different functions that I want, which is EP location and EPW reader. So again, if I do this, I can check and see if this thing work and what it returns. But before doing that, I forgot to do one thing, and I think I'm kind of getting distracted by time. So let me just copy paste this, and I will comment it out, and then we will come back and check the input first before calling this. Oops, sorry. Check the input first before calling the function. So now let's see if it works up to here, and we will do the rest for the next video. So I just press F5, everything is fine, the version is fine, the Ladybug is flying, so it works all fine up to here. And to make sure I have Ladybug preparation imported correctly, so I just print dir, and you can see, yes, I have this thing here, and it prints all the methods and properties of my class, and everything looks fine. So okay, let's consider this as the end of this video, and in the next video we will go ahead and I really use this LB preparation that we imported into this component to get the data. Thanks for watching.